to refer this website called www.surveysystem.com. This is another site. I'll also give you some of the tip for the data collection. Please ensure that you have to challenge your assumption. In case of assumptions, I'm talking about the objectives which you have already listed in your introduction part, and your questionnaire will be completely dependent on the objectives. Many a times during my review or interview in the final Viva Voce, I do ask student which of the questions in your questionnaires relate to which of the objectives you have written over there. So this is very, very important, because the questionnaire will be outcome of your objectives of your research, and if your questionnaire does not provide the information to understand or verify or do a research for those objectives, then the questionnaire is of no use. So this is very important, how you write your objective, and accordingly how you develop your questionnaire which take care of all the objectives. When I talk about these 10 tips, the first is challenging your assumption. Now don't waste time by asking the obvious, because obvious is known to you, and the challenge is to find out which is a hidden information for which you don't have a knowledge. So that is the first tip. You should try to have information through your questionnaire or whatever method you use to collect the information as wide as possible. In research terminology, we use a word critical mass. So this is the information you collect. In the beginning, it may look like superfluous kind of information, but at the end of the day, when you start writing your report, you will find more information is always helpful in understanding the object, or let me put it, in understanding or writing your report well. If you don't have information at that time, probably you will have lost the time by doing again a survey. So it's better to have a wider net. Then the third tip is try to dig deep. Try to collect the data that cannot easily be observed or counted. When I say counted, I mean putting into a quantitative form. So this is the third tip. Another thing is try to confirm sources, because many a time you see you collect the data through questionnaires, but this questionnaire information collected through questionnaire will not suffice. It will not be enough. So you may have to have some other supplemented method to confirm the sources. Please try to have a multiple writers or stakeholders or respondent who try to give a different perspective. Think before you collect. Very, very important. Choose your questions very carefully with regard to what you want to expect to find. Again, I am using the term whether your question is fulfilling the purpose of objective for which you are doing your research or not is very, very important. Another tip I could think of, please remember that you have to keep some kind of a expectations for the respondent, expectation for the person who is filling your questionnaire. He can't sit with you for the whole day. So you have to have some kind of the time and effort from both sides. So a reasonable expectation of participation is very, very important. Forget about mailbox services. A time was there when you used to post your questionnaires through post. Now it's a time you have to have an online questionnaire. How to develop online questionnaire, I'll be also delving upon a little bit later. Please do not collect the data like a black hole. Please do a data collection with some kind of a diligence. So this is another important tip. The last one I'll say, it is a process. It's an evolving process. It's not an event yet. You do one time and it's over. Many a time once you come back home and you find the data collected is not enough. So please ensure that you have to take this process again to collect or some part of the data which you could not do that in earlier stage. So these are some of the questionnaires So now let us talk about how you can develop your effective questionnaire. I'm using the word effective because this questionnaire is going to take care of all the objectives which you have to undertake for your study purposes. This itself is a art how to develop a questionnaire. Please do remember, you cannot ask some girl about her age, or you ask some questions which are not a tolerable question. So how to ask question itself is a very important issue. Now, which are the questions which are to be kept in the beginning, which are the questions to be kept in the middle, and at the concluding are very, very important. Please ensure the sequencing of questions have nothing to do with the sequencing of the objectives of your research, because you may be knowing that which question takes care of which of the objectives. So sequencing of the question has nothing to do with the objectives of your study. Now please ensure all the soothing questions, like what is the salary, not salary, pardon me, what is educational background, about the company, about the individual. So these questions are introductory questions you can keep in the beginning. Then in the middle you can ask the hardcore questions for which you are doing or carrying out your research, and probably end of the questionnaire you can keep some questions, open-ended questions, which probably you could have to have, you would like to have opinion of the respondent, so which may not be relevant right now for your research, but while writing your project maybe there will be some information which you could use later on. So this is clear that the questionnaire can be divided into three parts. Now question comes, open-ended question, close-ended question. Probably today is not the day I'll be teaching you all. All these will be taught during your course. Nevertheless, we have also uploaded in PDF detailed guideline how you can select your topic, how you can develop your objectives, how you can develop other chapter areas, and how you have to go in detail. So all these things are available there. But today I'm going to touch upon something which is probably beyond that and in supplement to whatever has been kept over there. Already said, I will be uploading 2 videos over there for IBESCO, for Emerald, and your detailed one 14-15 page report has been already kept on our website, how to develop your research report. Now coming back to questions, basically you develop the question or you design the question in order to generate the data to fulfill your objective. When I say objectives fulfillment, question comes, maybe there will be some questions which do not fulfill the objectives. Now as you see over there in this PowerPoint, probably you could delete those questions and you have to keep your question who fulfill the objectives. Now you have not done started your survey, and you have to ensure this process how you will do that. The best method is what we call a testing of the questionnaire, or technically we call it pre-testing. So what is pre-testing is, you develop a questionnaire, then about 5 to 10 questions you give it to your friends, you give it to the people who are known to you, and ask them to fill the information. And while they will fill the information, they may find out some kind of a discrepancies, and maybe some information which you later on, after reading those questions, you find they do not take care of your objectives. So delete your questions immediately and refine your questionnaire. So this pre-testing is very, very important. Another important issue is of the accuracy of the data. Please do remember, and particularly as a student, you always have very less time to collect the data. And in this short time, you have to collect not quote unquote data, but accurate data. Now, this is very, very important. So, idea is whatever you have communicated in your questionnaire, is respondent understanding that properly or not. So, communication is very, very important for respondent. Please ensure it should be taken care, because your questionnaire should not be sloppy, and all the questionnaire or the question in the questionnaire should be understood to the respondents. There is already a design process which you have already read by this time you are seeing my video today, and nevertheless I am repeating over here. In process, at any moment of time you find that something has gone wrong, please ensure to make a correction over there in this process. Second important thing is ensure that the questions are non-structured. Open-ended question, which I have said could be kept at the end of the questionnaire, and structured question, or we call it a fixed responses, should be there. Some of the examples could be there, like you see over there. How old are you? What do you like most about owning your own home? Now these are the questions which are very non-structured question. But if you see this question, in which of the following categories does your age fall? So probably somebody can tick less than 18. Of course you won't go to somebody now less than 18 to 30, 13, and of course over 60. So this is a structured question example put forth before you. Another caution while writing a question is you should take care when you are developing a questionnaire for the international respondents. Many a time it has been seen in countries where English is not spoken, very satisfied may mean somewhat satisfied. And so obviously in your question, please replace very satisfied by the totally satisfied. So these are some of the issues probably in terms of word equivalence you can take care and developing your questionnaire. Now question comes, will the respondent answer all your questions? Is your respondent feeling a little bit uncomfortable? Now you can't ask question like age of a female, about other issues. So please ensure these sensitive questions, how to be asked, is taken care, is very important issue. Again, there are many times one-sided question, like do you feel firms today are concerned about their employees? Once you ask this question to the respondent who is working in an organization, it means you are asking a question about his organization. Obviously he or she is not going to answer this question, and this is what I mean by one-sided question. They should be avoided. Sometime please avoid some questions which have implicit information. Are you favorable, indifferent, or unfavorable to 10% increase in municipality taxes? So probably I think it's very implied. Already it has been announced there is going to be a 10% increase. You are asking again a question about 10% rise. So probably there is information which is implicit. So no use asking such questions, and they can be avoided. Already told, sequencing is very important. Positioning of question is important. Arrangement, funnel and inverted funnel sequence is very important. So what I told you today, the best method could be inverted funnel. In the beginning, ask the question which are not difficult one, then difficult one. Probably at the end of the day, it's like a pattern or inverted funnel wherein open-ended questions can be asked. So this method can be adopted. Again, while developing a questionnaire, the cover letter for the questionnaire is equally important. Please ensure this takes care of